North Carolina is one of the fast-growing states. It's been for many years. Charlotte's one of the fast-growing cities, one of the largest-growing cities. We already got basketball. We already got football. We need Major League Baseball in our city because we can support it. People want to see it. I don't want to drive 4.5 hours to Atlanta to go see the Braves play. And I definitely don't want to go 9 hours to Washington, D.C. to see the Nationals. I want to see a team in my city. So I just started this Facebook page, and I just wanted to ask people, do you want to see Major League Baseball in Charlotte? And overwhelmingly, people said yes. So that's why I do it. I do it for the people.
Well, Rick Curti, I could talk to you and I could tell you, Facebook page. Look, I know of a Facebook page that wants to bring the A's back to Philadelphia. Well, I think the Phillies would have something to say about that, and all this. So what can a Facebook page do?
Well, I mean, it gets the conversation started. You can't get it started if you don't do something. So that's pretty much how we just started. We just started with a Facebook page. And it just grew and grew. We have a website now at www.charlottebats.com. We're on Twitter. And what's the great thing is that the media started hearing about us. So I would be hearing people from the media wanted to interview me. And what really, really helped it was in 2015, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred came out with a short list of potential cities for MLB expansion, and Charlotte was on the list. And my goodness, it just absolutely grew.
Rick Curti, Charlotte Bats, Facebook public awareness, that's all well and good, but let's face facts, it's going to take coin to bring a team to Charlotte, either by expansion or relocation. I'm not a fan of franchise relocation. I don't believe in breaking fans' hearts, that sort of thing, just so that an owner can get a couple of more luxury boxes. But I guess, let me just ask you this. I mean, have you talked to anyone with money about, would you like to invest in such an endeavor as bringing a Major League franchise to Charlotte?
Yes, I talked to Bank of America's headquarters here in Charlotte.
Sure.
Duke Energy is one of the largest energy companies in the world. We've talked to a lot of sponsors, a lot of businesses. We know it's going to take a lot of money. We know it's not going to happen overnight, and it takes time. And we are very confident when they do expand, and the only thing they're waiting on is new stadiums in Tampa and Oakland, and they'll expand. They just had a game in London.
Sure.
It was fantastic. We actually had a game played in North Carolina at Fayetteville on the Fort Bragg base 3 years ago on 4th of July. That was a huge hit, and so we know it's going to happen. It's just going to take time.
Where would a yard go in Charlotte? Would it be Charlotte? Would it be Rock Hill? Would it be somewhere else?
No, it has to be in Charlotte. I mean, you have to put it in Charlotte. You have to put it in the largest city in your state. I mean, look at Tampa Bay. They play in they don't play in Tampa Bay, and their attendance is awful. And we had a minor league baseball team that played in South Carolina in Fort Mill, which is 20 minutes away, and the attendance was terrible.
Charlotte Knights, I remember that. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and now they're in Uptown Charlotte, and their attendance is actually number one, been leading all of minor league baseball in attendance for the last 5 years. And so that is what helped our journey to bring MLB to Charlotte. So it has to be in Charlotte. I love Raleigh. Raleigh's a great place. I know there's a group trying to bring an MLB team to Raleigh, but you have to put it in the largest city in your state, and it's Charlotte.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, the Charlotte Checkers have been around, I think, since the 50s. So how is it that Raleigh ultimately got the Hurricanes and not Charlotte?
That's a great question. I remember when the former Hartford Whalers, when they relocated, and
I covered the first game in Greensboro. Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, they were in Greensboro, and then they came to Raleigh, and I don't really know. I think maybe because they thought it was the capital, and thought that'd be a great place, and really the attendance has struggled there, but now I think it's been rejuvenated with a new owner like Dundon, and the success of the Hurricanes, knocking off the Capitals in the playoffs, and then our Checkers actually won the Calder Trophy, which is a minor league version of the Stanley Cup, and so that's very exciting. So Raleigh's a great place, it's just not there yet for MLB. I think it should get another sports team. You know, I could see it definitely getting another sports team, but I always ask myself, yeah, I think it should have gone to Charlotte, in my opinion.
Now, how much seed money are we talking about? I mean, you've got to have an entry, you know, an application fee, you know, and let's just look at the expansion, you know, model, for instance. You'd have to buy into Major League Baseball hundreds of $millions, plus there's the payroll, the marketing, and all that. How much seed money would it take to have a new Major League Baseball team?
Probably around 500, 700 million bucks, around there.
Okay, and I know that, you know, Charlotte, obviously a banking, you know, headquarters and all that. So one might think that there is the coin there. And you mentioned that you had met with Bank of America just through your Facebook page there, Charlotte Bats, which everyone can check out. Where would the fan base be for a Charlotte team? Look. I look at the Panthers, okay? I look at, and basically their fan base just absolutely cuts off at the Tennessee border in North Carolina. You'll have Titans fans, you'll have Cowboys fans, you'll have Steelers fans. Panthers fans, not so much. Maybe even some old Redskins fans who remember when the ball games were shown on Channel 11 down here years ago. And so, you know, you've got and Charlotte knows about the Redskin games. You know, I remember when WBT for the longest time was a Redskins affiliate, that sort of thing. But, you know, you've got the Braves in the marketplace. You've got, you know, at some point in Virginia, the Nationals are going to be the team. Where would you think the geographic fan base for a potential Major League Baseball team in Charlotte would be?
Well, that's the great thing about Charlotte, because we have a sister state next door in South Carolina, and South Carolina doesn't have any pro teams; they have college, and so we can see people from Columbia, Fort Mill, Rock Hill coming here. There is no MLB in Tennessee or Nashville. Nashville's actually on the list with Charlotte as well. There's no team there. We get people from Tennessee. Virginia doesn't have MLB. We're 9.5 hours from Washington. We're about 4.5 hours from Atlanta, and so just all the demographics around there, we can get it. And that's the uniqueness about it, that we're two states in one.
But I mean, here in the Tri-Cities, I mean, there's still a Cincinnati Reds fan base, and I gotta believe that that's sort of a carryover from before the Braves moved to Atlanta in '66. You mentioned Columbia. Look, I can imagine that Charlotte would go for their own Major League Baseball team, but what about a place like Columbia, where you are kind of halfway between Atlanta and Charlotte and such? I mean, can you win over that town to be your own, to make baseball in Charlotte viable?
Absolutely. I mean, we have huge baseball fans out here. I mean, they travel everywhere. And we can see people coming from Columbia and Rock Hill and Fort Mill. We can see people coming from the Tennessee, Virginia area. We can see people coming from the Georgia area. You know, people, I don't want to drive 4.5 hours to Smyrna, Georgia to see the Braves play. Some people like to do that. I don't. I want to have my own team in North Carolina. And we don't have a team in Virginia at that, not yet, so we can get those areas around that don't have it. And the great thing about Charlotte is that we are like a melting pot. Nobody here's from Charlotte. We have people from Boston, we have people from New York, we have people like me from California.
Okay, let me just stop you right there, because I do want to ask you in the 3.5 minutes I have left. I mean, you mentioned that's always said to be a problem in Tampa, because they have the same thing. I mean, the Yankees train in Tampa, and it said all the transplanted New Yorkers just keep their allegiances to the Yankees. I can remember a Yankees radio affiliate not far from you in North Carolina. Why would the New Yorker switch over to Greenville, to the Charlotte Bats in the future?
Well, I mean, if you live in North Carolina, you're going to, support your team that is in your state. I'm a Dodger fan, and I love the Dodgers, but I'm not going to go all the way to Los Angeles to watch a Dodger game. I'm going to support my team in North Carolina, so that's the great thing. People want to root for their home team. They don't want to root for another team in another state, and that's why a lot of people here were Braves fans, because we didn't have Major League Baseball. They became Braves fans, or before the Panthers came, they were Falcons fans. Now those Falcons fans have now become Panther fans.
Look, appreciate what you say. I want my own team in Charlotte because I talk about the Tri-Cities being more cosmopolitan. Support ETSU. Don't necessarily hike your skirt up for the bigger team 100 or 150 miles away. How about let's having a hockey team with a new arena here in the Tri-Cities? Or, as I sometimes mention, what about a AA team instead of the old Appalachian League, which just doesn't have the area come together, but rather pits it city against city? And so my question is, I've often asked what would it take to put a AA baseball team in the Tri-Cities, and I'm told a major league organization would have to draft the area. What would you say potentially about Charlotte drafting the Tri-Cities for a AA team and helping, therefore, Charlotte have a presence in terms of a fan base that they don't have with the Hornets or the Panthers here in the Tri-Cities?
I think that'd be a great idea. I mean, we're a growing state. We've been growing for decades. I think that'd be a great idea, and I think it's great to reach out to other cities and other states. And I think it'd be awesome to have a AAA team in the area that would be accompanied to our Major League Baseball team. Maybe like the Durham Bulls or something like that. And to speak about Tampa, my opinion, Florida just cannot support Major League Baseball. They just can't.
It's the 11th largest market right there,
I know, but they have a team in Miami, and look at the attendance. It's god-awful.
Yeah, I do think that there is something there because so many fans. I mean, I'm a sports talk radio host here, Rick Curti of Charlotte Bats. I mean, I've read how, like, if you have a show in Orlando, you can't just talk about the Magic or UCF. I mean, you literally have to give a national presentation of Major League Baseball. And I kind of have to do the same thing on this station, too, because, sure, there are a lot of Braves fans, but there are also a lot of Reds fans. And, there isn't just one team. Hey, let's talk about the Charlotte Bats and then let it go, that sort of thing. That's what's often mentioned in Florida. I throw that out. Anyway, I'll also tell you that the sports talk radio down there tends to be Tampa Bay Buccaneers 365 a year. I've listened to it. Anyway, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but no, that would be one of the things that you'd have to overcome, to be brutally honest with you. It's a process. I'd like to see it, to tell you the truth. I mean, I'd like to see Charlotte, just for the potential of therefore having the AA team here in the Tri-Cities, if nothing else, and for that matter, to be able to have, a team that's closer to the Tri-Cities that you could legitimately, go to and back and forth on any weekend day and watch the ball game, that sort of thing. So, Rick Curti, check out his Facebook page. I certainly will. Charlotte Bats, that's where it is. We'll try to share this interview with you there. But when we come back, Will Craig, Indianapolis Indians, by way of the Science Hill Hilltoppers, he's in the futures game trying to make the major leagues. By the way, real quick, when do you think expansion might occur in Major League Baseball?
Well, it's a good question. I see maybe like 5 to 7 years.
5-7 years, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
The only block with that is just Tampa and Oakland.
Sure. I understand that.
They're trying to keep Tampa, and now Tampa might play half their games at Montreal.
No, I've seen all that. Yeah, and I don't mean to give you the bum's rush here, but I do have to make a phone call, and I got 90 seconds to do it. So let me stay in touch with you. Good luck to you here. I am serious. Keep that in mind. And please do talk about drafting areas like Columbia and the Tri-Cities for minor league baseball teams. And I'm not just talking about having one in the old Appalachian League.